Welcome to Comical Recovery. I am your host with the most trauma, comedian Jessica Byrne, creator of the upcoming cartoon Buddies, winner of multiple East Coast comedy contests, and 35 consecutive years of life experience in the School of Hard Knocks. Subscribing to my YouTube channel is free. Hit the like button for recognition. Tell all your friends about your new addiction because sharing is caring. Last time, we talked about PTSD and trauma. Well, mostly just PTSD and what that looks like. And I was all sorts of scattered. And guess what, guys? You get scattered me again. As much as I'd like to be organized, some days I'm not. And today's one of those days. I have written about 5 different topics, and I have decided that all of them are not good enough because that's where I'm at today. Today I am fighting with me. It's pretty fun. I like this version of myself the most. That's sarcasm if you didn't know. And of course, everything that could go wrong probably will. So you'll hear dogs barking in the background. You'll hear pens clicking and God only knows what else. Because that's how my brain feels today. It feels like there's a million dogs barking and I have something assigned that's due today and it's just going to be a struggle. So obviously today is a battle of self-worth and feeling good enough. And all of this is compacted from the week. It's interesting how it works. I don't know if it works for you guys like this, but sometimes the more I accomplish, the more I actually beat myself up. It's so weird and backwards. You know, I thought about 1 million topics today, and instead of patting myself on the back and saying, wow, you're so creative, Jessica, you thought of 1 million topics, I'm beating myself up with, you can't even find one thing to talk about. That's not good enough. That's not organized enough, etc. That's what happens in my brain. And it's literally been happening for 2 straight hours. So I made the executive decision that I'm just going to post and not worry about the topic. Because the topic's pretty obvious. It's somewhere between self-worth and me versus me. Or indecision. You know, it could just be indecision because that's really what's going on today is a crap load of indecision. And expectations, expectations of what it should be. There's a lot of shoulding on me today. That is so stressful. I stress me out, man. I stress me out. Old me is like taking over today. She has the driver seat on the crazy bus. And I was contemplating like, all right, I'd like to have the problem and the solution. So, what's the solution today? And I'm Of course, thinking in my recovery brain's like trying to cheerlead me in the corner, except for the entire cheerleading team is gone. There's only one cheerleader today. And she's like, attitude of gratitude. And then there's an entire committee of insanity that's saying, F that. That takes too much time and work. Write a gratitude list. No, not today. No. I'm going to overthink for 2 hours. I'm going to grab every single bookshelf. See that? All the bookshelves. I only have one. I'm going to grab every single book off the bookshelf to see what the perfect topic is. Because perfect is all I can settle for. I can't settle for anything less. Everything has to be perfect. I have to be perfect. If I'm not perfect, then no one will listen and no one will like me. And that's my old thinking. Isn't it amazing? I love her. She's the best. She is my favorite person in my head. And apparently there's like a committee of her today. She's got everyone from Jessica's past on that team. And there's only one quiet little meek voice on the cheerleading team. So I've decided we're just going to ride the crazy bus today, crazy train, whatever you want to call it. Feels more like a train because it seems like there's a lot of cars behind the driver. But yeah, we're just going to chill out on the crazy train today and just enjoy the ride. Because sometimes that's all you can do, is enjoy the ride of insanity. Stop fighting it. Because my insane thinking has the wheel. And I can either enjoy the ride or fight it all day. So it's not a fun thing to fight against. So instead, I'm just going to allow things to be irritated. And I might be switching topics a little bit today too. Because the thing that comes to mind is meditation. That was an idea for a topic today, which I will have at some point. Because we have all these misconceptions of what meditation is and what it looks like. But really, it's just sitting with your thoughts and letting them flow and not letting yourself fight with those thoughts. So I'm going to let the refrigerator running irritate me. I'm going to let the dogs that barked earlier worry me and stress me out. Are they going to bark again? And I'm going to beat myself up over what I think I should be doing and not knowing what I want to do. And I'm going to look forward to the moment that all of these insane thoughts pass. At 2 p.m. I have therapy, and I will get to dump the chaos in that room and probably walk away with clarity, because generally that's how that works for me. And yes, the sane thought of maybe you should wait until after therapy did come into my mind, but we're not doing sanity today. Oh no. We're doing pressure cooker, insane thinking. Crock pot, insane thinking. We're going to let it marinate all day. And we're just going to throw some more crazy in the crock pot. Because sometimes that's all you can do. And you may be thinking that I'm completely off my rocker. It was just a matter of time before you found that out. let's be honest. But the beauty of this moment is the awareness that will come along throughout the day. The awareness that I've already come to is that the weekend has been really long, and it was jam-packed full of chaos and traumatic events. And then it fell over into Monday. And then Tuesday, I put my big girl pants on and I got a bunch accomplished. And then today, Wednesday, I have decided to beat myself up. Because that's how that works for me. Part of that is being raised in a abusive cycle. You know, there's that old saying, you can take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the girl. It's just one of the sayings. I don't even know if that's the right one, but that's the one I came up with right now. So you're welcome. You can take the crazy out of the girl, but no, wrong. Anyways, let me not try to see perfectionism. That's what that looks like. Well, same concept. You can take the person out of the abuse, but it's work to take the abuse out of the person. Especially when it's in those prime years of growth, which is from in utero to roughly about 8 years old. That's when all the conditioned behaviors really get settled in. And adapt as if they're your own. Now, I don't believe that they'll stay forever. I just know that it is going to be work to take them out. And awareness is key. So even in this moment of just sitting in awareness, I can begin to examine all the crazy thoughts, all the crazy behaviors, and create new, fun, crazy behaviors, like having a serious conversation with myself in the mirror. Yes, we did that today. We did that. We did a little pep talk. In fact, I have a mirror in front of me, but because I'm fighting with me, I'm fighting with everything else around me too. My whole house looks crazy. Because that's what happens for me. When I'm disorganized in my mind, everything else is disorganized. But, doing this thing was so much more important than cleaning my space so that I could get my thoughts organized. Because that would be sanity. And we're not doing sanity today. No, we had too much of that yesterday. No. We got to live by the 80-20 rule. 20% sane, 80% insane. I'm not ready to give that up. I spent 2 hours writing and judging, and it's been almost 15 minutes of bantering. And everything in me wants to just give up because I don't want to continue bantering. You may not think this is funny. But that's not where the growth is, guys. The growth is pushing past all that judgment and doing the thing anyways. Because I don't have to post this. It could just be for me. I might record something new after therapy when I feel more sane, or clean up the chaos around me after I do this because I'll feel accomplished. Or I may just post this. And you guys can leave crazy comments below. Like, get your you-know-what together, Jessica. Be more organized. Don't do this again. We're disappointed in you. Don't worry, guys. You don't have to leave those comments. I already feel that way. Or I'll get like fluffy other comments that are like, you're doing a great job. Hear the sarcasm in that? That's where insanity comes in. It's like, no, we're not going to accept any compliments given by others or ourselves. That's weak sauce. It's all about the way you were raised. And it's not even my parents' fault or their parents' fault because it's generational. And we could get into deep societal nonsense, but I just don't have that kind of energy in me. I've been wearing myself out, beating me up. So it's not going to happen. Not today, anyways. So now that we have been a little insane, I feel more open to the positive solution. And the positive solution for me when I am feeling this way is, first of all, I have a Fitbit, which I love so much. And it has this awesome little stress test on it where I can gauge, I'm sure it goes by your heart rate, and I can gauge how stressed I am. It's got green, yellow, red, whatever. And I was in the red. And then I did what is called a brain dump, which I got out my journal, I set my timer for 5 minutes, and I just dumped all of my emotional junk on the page without rhyme or reason. In a brain dump, there are no rules. You just write. And you set the timer because you don't want to do this all day. Maybe you do. But it gives a little limitation of emotional junk that you can dump. And when I checked my watch after that, it definitely helped with the stress level. I went back down to the orange, which is, like yellow orange, closer to green, which is good. Green is good. Red is bad. And that was one solution for the day. There's always the gratitude list, but sometimes you're just not feeling grateful. Or you're struggling to put down what you're grateful for. Many days I have resistance towards doing good things. And it's very silly, but it is what it is. I also like to make a list of accomplishments because oftentimes I don't give myself enough credit. A good example is the brain dump. On my list for the morning ritual that I have, I got all sorts of goodies, guys. So I do a morning ritual, and on there it says journal. Because I'm in this judgmental, critical mindset, my inner critic says, you didn't journal today. And I have to say things to myself like, where is there a rule book that the brain dump isn't a journal? Where is the rule that says I have to journal in this specific way? I think that's where we get hung up. In meditation and journaling, in the gratitude list. Nobody said I had to have 100 things on my gratitude list. I could have 1 or 2, I guess, if it's I don't know what, and what's the definition of the list? I think those thoughts when I'm in this mindset. It's like, what defines a list? You know what? I'll Google it. Google will know. Google will set the standard for me because I have to have a standard. If I don't meet that standard, then I'm not good enough. That's the insane thinking. So solutions, we've got the gratitude list, the brain dump, meditation I've mentioned, affirmations, which are super fun for me. I say that, I'm sure you can recognize my sarcastic tone, but I say that because I have a specific memory of when I was very new, or maybe not even in sobriety. I think I wasn't even in sobriety. And this suggestion of listening to affirmations was given to me. So I was open. All right, I'll listen to affirmations. And I was in a piss poor mood, to say the very least. And I'm listening to these affirmations and it's saying, the universe supports you. Really? Does it? All things work out for my greater good. Oh, you don't say. That is literally what I was doing as it was giving me affirmations. I was verbally out loud arguing with it while I'm driving down the road. So that wasn't working for me. Later, I found out from my therapist that going from one extreme to another, your brain actually doesn't believe the things you're trying to newly tell it. So you have to find a neutral ground. Like, even though there will be obstacles in my day, I will still make it through the day. That was just a very trying example. But to simplify it, it's like, I can't ride my bike. I am unable to ride my bike right now. Something a little more tangible that my brain can believe. And it opens the door for the ability to try. And just to touch base on meditation one last time, yesterday I used that, or Monday, doesn't really matter what day it was. I used it recently. And I found myself arguing with that too. My brain was racing and I said to myself, you need to quiet your mind. That is a common misconception of meditation. You do not actually need to quiet your mind. You can let your mind think the thoughts and not hold on to the specific thoughts, just let them run. And I did that. I set my timer for 20 minutes that day. My heart rate was elevated. I was stressed again. And I, by the end of it, was still stressed out, but I had a little less of a headache, which was good because it was on its way to a migraine. And then I set the timer for 20 more minutes and my brain settled down. I personally love setting a timer because it provides a boundary for me, a little limitation so that I don't go overboard because I don't know if you've noticed, but I can totally do that. And then if I need more time, I can add more time to it. So I'm glad that we got to some solutions today because I was really unsure when we started this how it was going to go. I thought we were going to go off the rails, but we stayed on track. I'm glad you guys joined me today. I'm glad I recorded the insanity that is me. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you for listening, sharing, subscribing, and passing me around like your favorite doobie. Remember, laughter's the best medicine and sharing is caring. So I will see you next time for more comical recovery with your friend and host, comedian Jessica Byrne.